Thank you for joining us today. My name is Lindsey Hunter, and I am Assistant Dean of Admission at Emory University. My territory is Indiana, Michigan, and the Houston metro area. Today's presentation will be on the different types of colleges. Today's agenda, we will focus on the different types of colleges and your post-secondary options, and also the academic factors that you will need to consider as you make a school selection. There are 6 types of schools that we will focus on today: liberal arts colleges, research universities, public schools, private schools, career, technical, or vocational schools, and community colleges. Liberal arts colleges are going to have a base curriculum that are going to be in a variety of disciplines. So you'll study math, you'll study lab science, world languages, social science, and a variety of different courses as a base part of your study. And so whatever you select for a major, you'll still take a variety of course offerings. They'll offer a variety of course offerings in a variety of disciplines. Research universities have a focus on research, and that can be in the STEM fields, and that can also be in other fields like social sciences, world languages, and in the arts. Public schools are going to be schools that are primarily funded by the state in which the school is located, whereas private schools do not have the state funding as a primary source. And so these schools tend to not have an in-state, out-of-state tuition like public schools will. They will have a base tuition rate for all students. So even if you live across the street from the private school, you will still pay the same tuition rate as someone that lives 1,000 miles away. Career, technical, or vocational schools tend to have shorter programs. They'll have certificate programs, sometimes apprenticeships, and they will be for providing students with the training in a particular area of expertise. So it could be cosmetology, electrician, construction management, the list can go on and on. And then community colleges are generally 2-year schools. They offer associate degree programs for students, and some will also offer certificate programs. And these colleges generally are a little more affordable, and they cater to students that live within their district. So wherever you live, there's probably a community college very close to you that you can attend at a much cheaper rate than you would at another school. Keep in mind, a school's identity can be one or more of these types. So Emory is a liberal arts college, a research university, and a private school. And that is true for many schools. They'll fall in a couple of these areas and not necessarily just one. So let's see what you know. As you can see, we have the map of the United States and territories here. And we want to see, what do you know about the different types of schools that we have here in the US? How many colleges and universities are there in the United States? There are 4,138 colleges and universities. That's a lot of schools. That's a lot of schools. Now, how many are in the state of Georgia? 114. How many historically Black colleges and universities, HBCUs, are there in the United States? That is 102. And historically Black college or university are schools that were founded with the mission of educating Black people in the United States. Most of them were founded fairly soon after the Civil War ended and gave opportunities for students of color who did not have those opportunities in some of the larger universities or already existing colleges and universities. It gave them opportunities to get an education and to learn skills so they could be productive members of society. Now, 102 of those are in the United States, or remain in the United States today. How many selective colleges and universities are there in the United States? That means they have an admission rate of under 25%. And Emory will fall into this category. 80 schools. Now think about how many there are total. There are 4,138 colleges and universities, and only 80 have an admission rate of under 25%. That's a small number when you think about in relation to how many there are total. So what do you need to consider factors for the size of the school? So you have to consider your personal learning style. Are you the type of student that needs to have a more individual attention, or are you the type of student that can be in a class with maybe 300 or 400 students and you would still thrive? That's something to consider and to know about yourself as you make these choices, because every school size will give you different types of courses. And especially in those first courses that you'll take your freshman year, those are generally your general education courses. And they will, and since everyone is taking those courses, they tend to be larger. Most schools, even the largest schools, by the time you get to your junior or senior year and you're kind of really focusing in on your major, your class sizes will, be much smaller than they were at the start. But it's good to know what the levels are so that you can make a decision that's most appropriate for your learning style. What's the average, again, classroom size? Some schools have these really, really large classes. And, here at Emory, the largest class will be about 150 people. And that isn't going to be every class that you would take your freshman year. We have general education requirements. And, many of those courses are not going to be that large. What academic and social opportunities are available for you? We want to focus on what the academic side the school can provide, but you also want to know what social opportunities. Are there Greek life? Are there many clubs? Are there volunteer and service opportunities for me at this school? These are things that you want to think about at the size of the school. Sometimes larger schools, depending on how large, the way that the social aspect of their community is really dependent upon what opportunities are available. And if you're a social person, or even if you're not, you want to know, where is this a place that I'm going to thrive? Is this a place where I will feel comfortable? And is this a place that will help me flourish to the best version of myself possible? And that, again, knowing everyone are always meeting new people. One of our fellows always says that when they walk through Emory's campus, they always see, two people that they know and one person that they don't know. And Emory is about a medium-sized school. And so if you are the type of person that every time you walk out of your door and you're walking through campus, you want to know everyone you see, and at a smaller school, that's very possible. Or are you the type of person that's like, I don't need to know everybody all the time. I'm very comfortable in settings where I'm meeting new people all the time. And then you might be more comfortable at a larger school or somewhere in the middle. So that's something you have to think about. So we have some examples. Caltech, California Institute of Technology, is 961 students. Pomona College, also in California, is 1,578 students. And then we have the University of Central Florida with 56,972 students. So when you walk out of your room or your class or building, you easily would walk into people you have never met. And that could happen for a few years because that's the size of a small town. And then you have Michigan, which is 29,821 students. And again, very large campus. The possibility and opportunities to meet new people will probably happen on a very daily basis, as opposed to a place like California Institute of Technology with only 961. After about a year or a semester, you will probably have encountered most of the student body. Location is also important. You want to think about, is it an urban, suburban, or small town? Is it nearby and or in a metropolitan area? How close is this school to your home? And is the geography and the seasonal climate something that you would like? So let's look at the examples. We have Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. It's right in the city. It's a very cute little area, a lot of shopping, a lot of activity. It's a tourist attraction. And so you will constantly have people milling about in Georgetown in DC. And so if that's something that when you walk outside the gates of your campus, because there are gates, and you want to be right in the mix, then Georgetown is the type of school that's going to provide that type of environment. Whereas Middlebury in Vermont It's going to be a much more small town feel. It's going to have not very metropolitan because the whole state of Vermont has a much more of a small town just type of feel across the state. And so there's going to be different opportunities for you to get involved in different types of things, but there are some things that they won't have because of the size and the location. And then you have Emory University. Emory gives you the best of both worlds, in my opinion, because although we are in the city of Atlanta, and Atlanta is a metropolitan area, the location of the actual campus is in a more suburban area. So you're about 15 minutes from downtown, so you have, you know, the quiet, and you can hear the birds chirping, you know, when you're on Emory's campus, but 15 minutes away from being downtown and being right in the mix. These are things that you want to you know, really think about. You know, do you want to be able to get on public transportation? You know, is it important that it's warm or is it cold? In Middlebury, it's going to be cool most of the time because it's so far north. Whereas in, you know, in Atlanta, you're going to have a lot of warm weather because we're further south. And Georgetown is going to give you, in DC, a mix. You know, you might have some snow in Washington, D.C. Whereas in Atlanta, if it snows, you will not be required to go anywhere. Also, academic programs are something that you want to consider. What are your specific programs of interest? Do they have options for you if you're undecided or you want to change your mind? I mean, you have a thought of what you would like to study today, but if you woke up tomorrow and said, you know, I think I want to do something else, or if you want to add some things to your program, how flexible is the school with allowing you to do that and still staying, you know, in line with your curriculum and staying on time? You know, you don't want to switch up and then have to add time to your learning. And what other opportunities for research and other involvement are there for you? Many of you all might be doing research now, and that's something that you want to continue at the undergraduate level. And so those are things that you want to consider. And there can be other involvement. Internships, cooperative programs. Is there some type of service learning, study abroad? These are things that you want to think about. Are they available? Because once you get to a school, you want to make sure that they offer all of the things that you think you would be interested in. And understanding those core requirements. At Emory, we have something called general education requirements. It's an interdisciplinary study students have to take in 9 different areas, but there's a lot of flexibility in that because we don't require students to select a major to the end of their sophomore year. So they have 4 semesters to really kind of just get a feel for a variety of different things before they're really kind of locking into a particular program of study. But you want to see, is that something that's, you know, appealing to you, or do you want to go to a school where they do things a little bit differently? You want to know that before you enroll, and really before you apply, so that way you're applying to schools that are going to fit your needs. Also, the support systems and mentoring. Is there peer tutoring? Is there teacher aides available for you to get a next level of an understanding? You know, you might sit in a class and say, I don't really understand what they were trying to tell me. And you can go and meet with a TA, and they can really kind of help break down that lesson and make sure that you are on track. Mental, physical, and emotional health is very important. And you want to research what support systems are available for students on the campus, because again, this is going to be your home, and you want to make sure you're in an environment that is going to not only prepare you academically, but that is going to help you maintain and to be at your best mentally, physically, and emotionally. Schools are going to offer academic advisors. You want a school that has good academic advising systems, so that way they can help you chart your course so that you can graduate on time, have maximized the opportunities academically in the school, and any pre-professional programs and things that might be help to you as you think about what you will be doing post your undergraduate career. You know, academic advisors are critical in that. And then research mentors. If you're interested in research, if that's something you want to do, you want to make sure that the school is providing you with people that can help you as you start developing your particular areas of interest. I want to thank you for participating in our admission advice on the different types of colleges. And I encourage you to email us at admission@emory.edu. Again, that's admission@emory.edu if you have any questions. Thank you and have a great day.